The small town of Millbrook had a reputation for two things: its scenic parks lined with ancient oaks, and the kind of quiet peace that made residents feel safe even after dark. Nestled in the heart of the Midwest, Millbrook's population barely scraped 12,000. Everyone knew each other, or at least thought they did. But on a cold November morning, the illusion of safety shattered. Evelyn Hart was the kind of woman who made neighbors smile. With her honey blonde hair usually pulled into a loose braid and soft green eyes that sparkled even in the grayest weather, she carried an air of warmth wherever she went. At 38, she was the proud mother of two, her teenage son, Luke, and her younger daughter, Mia. Evelyn's husband, Mark, was the town's well-liked high school principal. Tall, with salt and pepper hair and an easy charm, Mark seemed to be the rock of their family. Together, they painted a portrait of suburban perfection: PTA meetings, Sunday church, Friday night football games, and family dinners filled with laughter. But appearances, as Millbrook was about to learn, can be deceiving. Before we begin, like this video and comment where you are watching from. Your support helps us bring more intriguing stories. Now let's begin. On November 14th, the town awoke to the shrill call of sirens cutting through the crisp autumn air. The Hart family home, an elegant two-story colonial on Elm Street, was swarmed with police officers and crime scene investigators. Earlier that morning, the local mail carrier, Mrs. Jenkins, noticed the house's front door slightly ajar, unusual for a family so meticulous. Concerned, she called the police. Inside, officers found Evelyn lying motionless in the living room. The scene was chilling. A pool of dark crimson spread beneath her, a single bullet wound in her chest. The coffee table was overturned, as if a struggle had taken place. Nearby, a shattered picture frame lay face down, a family portrait now marred by shards of glass. Mark was not at home. Neighbors said he left early that morning for a conference in the neighboring city. News traveled fast in Millbrook, like wildfire in dry grass. The principal's wife found murdered in their home, a place where safety was taken for granted. The town's collective heartbeat quickened, a mix of disbelief and fear settling over the community. Detective Clara Reynolds was assigned the case. A seasoned investigator with 15 years on the force, Clara was known for her relentless pursuit of truth and an uncanny ability to read people. She arrived at the crime scene with her partner, Detective Marcus Holt, a younger but equally dedicated cop. Clara's eyes scanned the room. Every detail mattered. "Signs of forced entry?" she asked. "No, the door was unlocked, no broken windows," Marcus replied. "Struggle?" "The overturned table and some scuff marks on the carpet," Marcus said. "Weapon?" A Glock 9mm was found in the kitchen sink, wiped clean of fingerprints. The bullet that killed Evelyn matched the gun. As the detectives delved deeper, they learned Evelyn had no known enemies. Friends described her as kind, charitable, and fiercely protective of her children. Mark's alibi was airtight. He was at the conference, confirmed by several colleagues. Yet the question loomed, who would want Evelyn dead, and why? Clara and Marcus began interviewing the family and friends. Luke, the 16-year-old son, was devastated. "Mom didn't deserve this," he said, voice breaking. "She was everything to me." Mia, only 10, clung to a teddy bear, her wide eyes too young to fully grasp the tragedy. Neighbors recalled seeing a mysterious black car parked near the Hart house in the days leading up to the murder, a detail they had initially dismissed. Then came the first twist. While combing through Evelyn's phone records, Clara noticed frequent calls to an unlisted number. None of the contacts recognized it. The number was traced back to a burner phone, registered in a nearby city. Meanwhile, the investigation uncovered that Evelyn had been attending therapy sessions, something she'd kept from even Mark. Why? One of the therapists mentioned Evelyn's recent sessions focused on fear and paranoia, suggesting she felt threatened, though she never revealed by whom. Then a witness came forward. A delivery driver reported seeing a woman leave the Hart house late at night, just 2 days before the murder. The woman was described as mid-30s with dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing a leather jacket. Nothing like Evelyn's usual style. Who was she? The town waited with bated breath as the detectives pieced together a web of secrets hidden beneath the surface of a perfect family. Was Evelyn's death the result of a tragic, random act, or something far more sinister? As Clara reviewed the evidence late into the night, a chilling thought crept in. The killer might still be watching, and the darkness was far from over. The small town of Millbrook had barely begun to recover from the shock of Evelyn Hart's murder when Detective Clara Reynolds found herself staring deeper into a maze of secrets far darker than she'd imagined. The pieces no longer fit neatly. Beneath the surface of the Hart family's picture-perfect life lurked a tangled web of lies, betrayals, and dangerous alliances. The anonymous burner phone Evelyn had been calling, the one registered to a city not far from Millbrook, became Clara's immediate focus. "We've traced the number to a prepaid phone purchased at a convenience store on the edge of Millbrook," Marcus reported. "Surveillance footage shows a man in a hoodie buying it, face obscured." A dead end? Not quite. Cross-referencing security camera footage from nearby shops, Clara spotted the same figure lurking near the Hart residence multiple times in the 2 weeks before the murder. The figure wasn't a stranger to Millbrook. It was someone residents had seen but never suspected. That someone was Darren Collins, a 42-year-old loner who lived alone just 2 houses down from the Harts. Darren had a history of petty crimes and mental health struggles, but no violent offenses. Neighbors described him as quiet but odd, and he rarely socialized. He worked nights at a warehouse on the outskirts of town. Clara and Marcus decided it was time for a visit. When they knocked on Darren's door, he answered cautiously, eyes darting nervously. "We'd like to ask you a few questions about Evelyn Hart," Clara said gently. Darren's voice trembled. "I didn't hurt her. I swear." Inside his small, cluttered home, Clara noticed scraps of newspaper clippings about Evelyn pinned to a corkboard. Some circled, some with notes. "What is this?" Clara asked. "I was worried," Darren whispered. "She seemed scared, talking to herself sometimes. I tried to reach out, but she wouldn't listen." Meanwhile, the detectives re-interviewed Evelyn's therapist, Dr. Miriam Beckett, who revealed a critical detail she'd omitted before. Evelyn mentioned a man, someone from her past, who had been stalking her, Dr. Beckett said quietly. "She refused to give me his name, but said she feared for her life." Could Darren be that man? Or was he just another piece in a larger puzzle? Digging into Evelyn's background, Clara uncovered a startling revelation. Years before moving to Millbrook, Evelyn had lived in a neighboring state, where her name was listed as Evelyn Winters. Records showed she'd been involved in a messy divorce and custody battle with a man named Robert Stanton. Police reports hinted at allegations of harassment, but the case had quietly closed with no arrests. Could Robert Stanton be the stalker Evelyn feared? Clara reached out to the police department in Evelyn's former town. They sent files indicating Robert Stanton had a criminal record for assault and restraining order violations. More troubling, the last known address for Robert was only 60 miles from Millbrook. Back in Millbrook, the investigation took an unexpected turn. Mark Hart, the grieving husband and principal, was hiding something. Clara's gut told her that Mark's alibi, his conference attendance, was solid, but his behavior was evasive. Under pressure, Mark admitted he had been unfaithful to Evelyn for the past year. The confession hit hard, but Clara sensed there was more beneath the surface. Recalling the mysterious woman seen leaving the Hart house days before the murder, Clara cross-checked Mark's confession with the witness statements. Mark admitted the woman was his lover, a secret he kept from Evelyn and the entire town. But why would she be at the house so close to the murder? And what did she know? The secret lover, identified as Jessica Bellamy, was tracked down and questioned. Jessica claimed she had left the Hart home hours before the murder and knew nothing about Evelyn's death. Yet inconsistencies in her story, especially about her whereabouts that night, raised red flags. The investigation intensified as Clara and Marcus uncovered hidden emails between Evelyn and Jessica, full of venomous accusations and threats. Evelyn suspected Jessica of trying to break her family apart, but the emails hinted at something darker, a financial dispute involving Mark and a large insurance policy. Late one night, as Clara sifted through the evidence, Her phone buzzed with a new message, a video sent anonymously. On the screen was a grainy clip, Mark and Jessica meeting furtively near the edge of town. Clara's heart pounded. Had the killer just taunted her? And who was the third person in the video? Detective Clara Reynolds sat in her dimly lit office, the anonymous video playing over and over on her screen. The grainy footage showed Mark Hart, Jessica Bellamy, and a third figure lurking behind them, face hidden in shadows, body tense with purpose. The message below sent chills down her spine. You're looking in the wrong place. The truth is closer than you think. The investigation had spiraled into a dangerous game of cat and mouse. With each new lead, Clara sensed the walls closing in, not just around the suspects, but around herself and her team. She reached out to Marcus Holt. We need to identify that third person. Whoever they are, they're key to unraveling this. Marcus nodded grimly. I've already been digging into recent visitors and unusual activity around the Hart household. Someone's been watching them for weeks. Using facial recognition software on the shadowy figure in the video, they found a partial match. A man named Gabriel Price, a local businessman with a controversial reputation. Gabriel owned a security company and had been contracted to install surveillance systems in Millbrook homes, including the Harts. Confronted with the evidence, Gabriel denied any involvement in the murder, but admitted to installing cameras in the Hart house, with Evelyn's permission. She was afraid, Gabriel said quietly. She wanted to protect her family from someone she couldn't trust. Clara's suspicions deepened. A search of the Hart home uncovered a hidden camera embedded in the nursery, cleverly disguised as a smoke detector. The footage stored on the device revealed private moments that shattered the image of the perfect family. Mark and Jessica were seen arguing heatedly. Evelyn appeared exhausted and fearful. Then unexpectedly, a shadowy figure approached the house in the dead of night. Piecing together the timeline, Clara realized Evelyn had confronted Mark and Jessica the night before her murder. A violent argument broke out, captured on the hidden camera. The last moments before Evelyn disappeared, the third figure in the video was present that night. But why? And what role had they played? Clara obtained a warrant to search Gabriel Price's office, where they found encrypted files containing intimate details on the Hart family, emails, photos, and recordings. Among them was a chilling confession from Jessica, admitting to conspiring with Gabriel to manipulate Mark into certain financial decisions. But the confession stopped short of any mention of murder. Just as Clara was about to close in on the suspects, a new forensic report turned everything upside down. The bullet that killed Evelyn wasn't fired from the Glock found in the kitchen sink. It came from a different gun, one registered to none other than Detective Marcus Holt. Confronted with the evidence, Marcus refused to speak, but Clara could no longer ignore the possibility that the corruption she feared wasn't just external. Had Marcus been playing a double game all along? Late that night, Clara received a text message from an unknown number. You don't know who to trust. Look behind the mask. The truth is darker than you think. A knock came at her door. When she opened it, no one was there. Only a blood-stained envelope on the floor. The game had just turned deadly. Detective Clara Reynolds stood frozen in her doorway, the blood-stained envelope cold in her hand. The photo inside showed her own home, its front porch dimly lit under the night sky, taken from across the street. Whoever sent it wanted her to know she was being watched. The chilling message in the text echoed in her mind. You don't know who to trust. Look behind the mask. The truth is darker than you think. Clara's mind raced. Was Marcus Holt, her partner, truly involved in Evelyn's murder? Or was someone using his name and weapon to frame him, and by extension, her entire investigation? She had to be careful. Trust was a fragile commodity, and now it was shattered. Marcus hadn't reported for work, and attempts to reach him went unanswered. Clara feared the worst. Seeking support, Clara contacted Detective Rosa Vega from an adjacent precinct, known for her tenacity and incorruptible integrity. Rosa, I'm going to need you on this, Clara said, voice tight. I can't trust Marcus anymore, and someone's watching me. Rosa agreed immediately. I'll meet you at your place. We'll figure this out together. That night, Clara and Rosa surveilled her home from a safe distance. They spotted a shadowy figure slipping away into the darkness after peering through Clara's windows. Clara's breath caught. "Whoever this is, they're sending a message," Rosa whispered. Desperate to understand Marcus's possible motive, Clara and Rosa dug into his background. Marcus had a history no one knew about, a secret life of gambling, debts, and strained family ties. He'd recently been blackmailed, but by whom? The detectives uncovered cryptic messages between Marcus and a mysterious contact known only as S. S was traced to a local businessman with ties to organized crime, Vince Calhoun, a man with influence that stretched far beyond Millbrook. Vince had been quietly pressuring Marcus to sabotage the Hart investigation. Why? The answer came in an encrypted file found on Marcus's work computer. A list of properties tied to Vince, including the Hart's home. It turned out the Hart's idyllic neighborhood was on the verge of a lucrative redevelopment deal, orchestrated by Vince and facilitated by corrupt officials, including some in law enforcement. Evelyn's murder was not just a crime of passion or jealousy, but a move to silence her. Using forensic analysis and help from Rosa's team, Clara found a fingerprint on the blood-stained envelope, Jessica Bellamy's. Confronting Jessica once again, Clara demanded the truth. Jessica broke down. "Yes, I was there that night," she admitted, "but I didn't kill Evelyn. Vince ordered me to keep Mark away, to push him into signing the papers." Jessica revealed that Vince had also threatened Marcus, forcing him to cover for Jessica and Mark. Suddenly, Jessica whispered something that stopped Clara cold. There was someone else at the house that night. Someone nobody suspected. Someone close to Evelyn. Clara's mind reeled. Could it be Evelyn's own sister, Margaret? The seemingly grieving relative who had stayed silent all along? Clara and Rosa set a trap to draw out Vince and his accomplices. They staged a fake meeting with Mark Hart, using it as bait to lure Vince out into the open. But Vince was no fool. The meeting was ambushed and a violent confrontation erupted. In the chaos, Clara was cornered in an abandoned warehouse by a masked assailant. As the figure pulled off the mask, Clara gasped. It was someone she trusted implicitly, someone who had been by her side through the darkest hours of the investigation. "I warned you to stop digging, Clara," the voice hissed. Before Clara could react, the scene went black. Clara's breath hitched as the masked assailant stood mere inches away. The face beneath was none other than Detective Rosa Vega, her trusted ally. "I warned you to stop digging, Clara," Rosa said coldly, eyes steely with betrayal. Clara stumbled back, disbelief washing over her. "Rosa? Why? Why would you do this?" Rosa's mask of loyalty shattered, revealing the ruthless ambition beneath. "It's always been about power and survival. Vince promised me protection. You were getting too close." Rosa confessed her long-standing covert relationship with Vince Calhoun, the criminal mastermind orchestrating corruption in Millbrook. She'd manipulated Clara's trust, feeding her just enough truth to steer her investigation away from the core of the operation. Despite shock, Clara's instincts kicked in. She fought Rosa fiercely, managing to knock the gun from her hands. Sirens wailed in the distance. Backup, Clara had called moments earlier. Rosa fled into the shadows, vowing this wasn't the end. With Rosa's betrayal revealed, Clara and Marcus, who had now come clean about his coerced silence, united to bring Vince to justice. They uncovered detailed records of Vince's illegal deals, extortion, and bribery, implicating high-ranking officials. A coordinated raid shut down Vince's empire, and he was arrested alongside several corrupt officers and business partners. Jessica Bellamy entered witness protection after testifying, while Mark Hart faced charges related to financial fraud, but was exonerated from Evelyn's murder. The case left scars. Clara knew that evil sometimes hides behind familiar faces, and that justice is often a tangled web. Yet she found solace in the truth, finally emerging from beneath the quiet streets. But just as Clara was ready to move on, a mysterious letter arrived at her desk, containing only one sentence. "The shadow you chased was only the beginning." The game, it seemed, was far from over. In Beneath the Quiet Streets, the unraveling of a perfect life, we followed a case where deception wore the face of friendship, and betrayal came from those sworn to protect. It wasn't just about a murder. It was about corruption, fear, and how deep people will bury the truth to protect their own secrets. But at the center of it all stood Evelyn Hart, a woman silenced not only by a killer, but by a system that nearly let it happen. And while justice was served, the scars it left behind serve as a haunting reminder of something more profound. Trust is not given lightly, but neither should it blind us. In a world where appearances deceive and motives hide in plain sight, the greatest danger isn't the monster in the dark, it's the mask worn in the daylight. Let this story be a lesson. Always question what's too perfect. Always listen to the silences between the noise, and never stop digging when the truth matters. If this story gripped you, if the twists, the betrayals, and the ultimate search for truth kept you on edge, then don't leave just yet. Like this video to support more powerful storytelling. Comment below, what part shocked you the most? Could you have seen that betrayal coming? Share this with someone who loves a good mystery or needs a reminder that darkness can live right next door. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a single chilling tale, because the truth is never as simple as it seems. Thank you for watching Twisted Guilts. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and never stop seeking the truth.